So, like I said, though, the kind of things and the kind of people that we brought in en masse, both legally and illegally, illegal being a far bigger problem in our context, these are some of the things that Andrea Jenkyns, whether you agree with her or not, whether you like reform or you don't, I don't like reform, right? I'll be brutally honest, I don't like reform. I think they're an absolute joke when they've basically reversed all of their big campaign policies that they made last year. And now when people are angry with them, now when the country's more of a tinderbox ready to go than it ever has been, they decided they were going to come out with a T-shirt campaign, a football T-shirt campaign, where they put the leader's name on the back, and you tell me that it's not a cult. Put the leader's name on the back, and you tell me that it's not a cult, selling signed shirts for $99.99 a pop. Nah. Cult of personality dressed up as a political party. Nonetheless, members here, like Dame Andrea Jenkyns, the mayor of Lincolnshire, she's with Reform UK, right? She was at a conference recently and detailed some of the heinous things that had been said to her by, again, these groups that for some reason, Reform UK seems to want to pander to. That Reform UK seems to want to pander to on a more national scale. They were saying disgusting things like, I hope a swarm of Asian hornets, crawls up your vagina and does heinous things. Part of it is, censored. She censors herself, obviously. But these are some of the truly heinous things that was directed at her. And I believe there's some even in there that's directed at her family and stuff like that. These are people that make coexistence, any kind of coexistence, a complete and utter myth. Video coming on screen now.
I'm going to start by just giving an example of the kind of things really we face in Britain. And I'm going to quote some correspondence. I hope a swarm of Asian hornets fly up and sting you. Hopefully your vagina will prolapse along with your rectum and you will spend your last days in a puddle of your own excrement. You dirty, posh, white S-word. I hope your little boy is molested and raped by refugees, and Hamas will come after you lot. Now, the person who sent the first...
I'll pause on a minute. Look at the just disgusting things that she just rattled off there. I hope a swarm of Asian hornets flies up your lady parts and stings you. I hope you have a vaginal prolapse. I hope your son is molested by a refugee. All of these disgusting things from people that have come in on pretenses, for the most part, that we need to open up our borders because we're bringing in the best and brightest from all over the world, right? We're bringing in, skilled people and all stuff like that, and we're giving them everything. We've given these people everything. In many instances, the public protectors that they're supposed to be have let them have the way with people's daughters, generations and generations of them. And the minute people start getting a bit fucking sick and tired of it, and especially the representatives like Dame Jenkyns here tries to draw attention to it, this is our thanks. This is our thanks. I'm sorry, any sane society would have done away with a lot of these people a long time ago. Sorry, I'm just going to adjust my microphone a minute. I realize I think my microphone has been down on the audio gain a little bit. My apologies. I recorded a video before to send to somebody, and I done it with the lapel microphone. I done it through OBS because for some reason when I record videos through another screen recording software, the microphone just gets so insanely sensitive for some reason, and it clips over the limit when I use the lavalier. Even when I have the lavalier all the way down away from my mouth, it's something wrong with the service. But I do like using the service, but something happens when I just use the lavalier mic in particular. Sorry, Legend, I'm just making sure my webcam refocuses a moment. There we are. But it's kind of disgusting things that don't belong anywhere in our society whatsoever. That it's not okay for these people to speak to our women like this. It's not okay for these people to do what the hell that they're doing. You got to think back to all the other things the other heinous things these people have done. The rape of children, the Lee Rigby incident, Manchester Arena attacks. We don't need these people. We don't need these people. And any sane society would have denaturalized them and sent them back long ago, or done away with them entirely, made an example of them. Because then maybe you would send a message to other countries, don't fuck with us. Or the other countries now, like France has said that it's going to start taking in Palestinians. Well, we can be damn sure that those Palestinians will be next on the recycled dinghies that come to this country. And they're some of the most radicalized population on the planet. Maybe we send a message to others that we're not okay with some of the wars that are going on around the world, and maybe they should stop fucking with it. It's just allegations that are coming out recently based on an interview that I believe it was Netanyahu gave to Israeli press. Didn't say it in the Western media at all, and he didn't say it in English, potentially highlighting rather how he speaks differently to journalists inside his own country versus foreign journalists. That potentially hinting at, doing away, not in that way, but getting rid of all the Palestinians in Gaza, because then they'll be shipped off to other countries, presumably European countries. And that would make, in that instance, in some way at least, and I'm all for getting the hostages back and all of those things, right? And I'm all for, if for lack of a better term, denazifying Gaza, right? De-radicalizing it. But that would make that action an enemy action, because they'd be sending all of these enemies who are equally radicalized towards us and towards our civilization and want to expand the Muslim caliphate onto our shores directly from and knowingly from their actions. So that would make them an enemy as well. But maybe it would understand that we are not to be fucked with. But as you see, ladies and gentlemen, we are a nation that seems to just be completely content with showing everybody our bare ass and telling them to have a little fucking go on it, in a self-flagellatory embarrassment in the name of diversity, equity, inclusion, multiculturalism, virtue signalling. Meanwhile, it's strength that actually deters people from doing these heinous things. It's why all of these things were allowed to perpetuate for generations with regards to the rape of Britain, because not only did we show that we were going to be weak on it, but we were going to show that we were actually going to be evil on it as well. And that's because it takes strength to do the morally virtuous thing. It's not for sissies, as some people say. But this is just truly, truly disgusting. But make no mistake, these people mean it. That's the thing. These people mean it. And if they think that they can send this and they think that they can do this to a dame of this country, somebody who's very high up, presumably a mayor, very high up in politics and in British society, it's no surprise then that they can do the heinous things that they did when it's just a working class British girl. I'm sorry if that makes you uncomfortable, but it's a fact. People have become so emboldened now. And a lot of people were showing that they never came here to benefit our society in the first place. They never came here to do good things for this country. They never came here to integrate. They never came here to build a prosperous society together where all of us can have families and flourish together. No, they never. A lot of them were never about that. It's very, very sad. Take this example from a guy up in the north of England, a Pakistani from the north of England, literally saying that they're going to rule over England and making allegations that they're going to arm themselves with AK-47s from Afghanistan. And we've seen this. We've seen this time and time again. Because I showed you the videos before. The guy who said that he was going to go and kill the English Defence League, right? Named Tommy Robinson, for example. And he was literally brandishing an AK-47. In England, I believe it was. So the criminals have all the guns, some of the most powerful weapons in the fucking world. We have nothing. And what do people expect? They just think they're not going to use them? They just think they're not going to enact this force? Are you seriously that naive? Well, sadly, yes. Yes, we are. Somebody pointed out to me in my comments recently, and I was very sad, but I had to agree with them. It was on one of my shorts. I can't remember which YouTube short it was. It was from a little while ago. I think it was about 8 or so episodes ago. It was talking about Wales and the totalitarian plans that we had. And they left a comment saying that, sadly, mate, I think it's a bit too late because most Welsh people are just so concerned with the English, the classic thing where Plaid Cymru are playing on this at the moment, where they're separatists with regards to the union, but complete and utter unionists when it comes to the EU and the global technocracy or the global bureaucracy, right? And that is very, very sadly true, I think. You know, I think you see sentiment shifting slightly, maybe with the support reform getting. Again, I don't particularly like reform. You see that sentiment shifting slightly, but you see so many. You know, I talk to people all the time who are going on about being governed by Westminster and all of this stuff. But if you go and listen to my conversation with Paul Ashton from the Abolish Welsh Assembly Party, so even though we're a devolved government, there's many things we're still ruled over by Westminster by. We're not an isolated government whatsoever. Okay, we may be devolved on some issues, but there's still some things that we need, you know, Westminster funding or Westminster approval for. I say what you want. Separation from that, I think at this point, even with the tyrannical Labour government that they've got over there now, I still think would be a terrible, terrible decision, because we need to be united against the common enemy that is coming to us from the rest of the world at this point, right? We need to be united. We're a very tiny island whose government has turned on us. We have nowhere else to go. We need to be united in that threat. But so many Welsh people are being like, oh no, the petty rivalry we have with the English and all the rest of it. But like, we can worry about that. We can worry about singing, you can shove your fucking chariots up your ass when we survive this thing. That's what we can worry about. Because if the people at the head of the global institutions get their way, if Plaid Cymru globalists get their way, we won't be having any of that. Because you'll be speaking Arabic. You'll be speaking Arabic or Urdu or Hindi. Make no mistake about it. And you and your daughters and everybody will be subjugated and enslaved and the property of people like this.
Why are Pakistani guys from up north so active? This is a genuine question because I don't have the answer to this myself here. If you know, just comment it down below. We've got places like Manchester, Liverpool, Bradford, Allen Rock. Scratch that, bro. The entirety of Brum. These are wired differently, bro. You don't want to ramp with a Pakistani guy from up north, man. These lot got AK-47s straight from Afghanistan, bro. I didn't even know these lot had things on Smash until I started hearing like Caps, Reki, K Mooney, Milo, people like that, bro. They're talking absolute grease. You wouldn't even be able to tell from appearances like G Bugs from Bradford. And then me living in London the past 23 years of my life, bro, I've never seen a Pakistani talk so much badness in London before, man. And it doesn't even come down to a majority thing because we have a large demographic of Pakistanis in London as well, bro. Like we got Hooton, Norbury, the whole of East, Upton Park, Green Street, Ilford. Yeah, Ilford is basically the Allen Rock of London, bro, but you'll never hear the Pakistani guys kicking off over there, bro. In fact, if you want to take it there, most of the members, you know, Droford, if you take it like back in the day, bro, most of the members, they were black people. So you don't really hear about the Pakistanis in the criminal world too tough, which is great. We love that. Shabash. Tumbare ache larke ho.
So you catch that at the start there, ladies and gentlemen. You catch that at the start. He's saying, especially up north, and make no mistake, when he says it's not such a big problem down south or anything like that at the moment, it's very soon will be. Very soon will be, because they're all motivated by the same ideology, you know, and the same motivations. They're already up in the north now. They're armed. They're armed like an army. I covered this before in the Peak District, or I said before in the Peak District, they are training and they are taking this seriously. The government wants to do nothing. The government wants it, if anything, because the more people that are taken out in this conflict that will be broken out, the more of them that will likely be not voting for the regime that are just done away with, right? They're seeing it as their demographic has to go and do whatever they want, so hopefully they'll vote for them, or under the pretense of voting for them. They'll take out other people of the other demographic who will not vote for them. So all of this is a ploy to ruin democracy, using democracy and using now what is going to become violent strife. I made no mistake, if you think governments are above this, you are very illiterate of history. You're very illiterate of Russia. You're very illiterate of Cambodia. You're very illiterate of anywhere else, of North Korea, of Mao's China. Do you think they're not above just offing millions of people to get what they want? You are truly, truly naive. You're truly, truly naive. And you need to start reading a history book. You need to understand. I covered this before. I believe it might have been when I was talking about it on the other podcast. And I highlighted the danger of socialism. Danger of socialism when you look at Mao's China, and I think the total of people killed by socialism, which is often, you know, people say more, people say less, but I use the ballpark figure of 100 million. You could kill enough people in that. So, sorry, 100 million killed, right? You could fill Wembley Stadium up over 1,111 times with the dead bodies. Imagine Wembley Stadium as the biggest sports venue in the UK, 90,000 capacity. 90,000 seating capacity. You could fill that up over 1,100 times before you ran out of bodies. I'd done the math on it a good while ago. So make no mistake, some rivers of blood are coming. And it's just a fact of the matter is that many, many entire communities will need to be removed. I hope as peacefully as possible. I hope as peacefully as possible. But they will need to be removed, because otherwise they will remove us, and they will remove us by violent means. And then you'll have horror stories like this, which happened in Nashville recently. Nashville, which is often seen as one of the nicer places in the US, but they had a true horror story that happened recently. Certain Mohammed rapes a woman to death on the steps of a church. So let me show you this guy. Imagine this guy, if this will load, being the last face that you ever see as you're getting violated viciously on the steps of a church. Just imagine it. And that's the last face you ever see. Mohammed. In Nashville, firefighters stumbled onto the scene of a pure horror on Nolensville Pike. Mohammed, 39, was caught in the act of raping an unconscious woman on the sidewalk outside of a church. As firefighters pulled up, he was trying to pull her pants back on. They detained him on the spot. The victim, a 34-year-old Nashville woman believed to be homeless, was rushed to Vanderbilt University Medical Center, but died shortly after arrival. She is being identified through fingerprints. This was posted 2 days ago, by the way. I don't know of any updates that are happening at the moment. Surveillance footage shows the woman can barely be able to stand. Let me try this again. Surveillance footage shows the woman barely able to stand before collapsing on the church steps. Makes you think, what else was going on? Maybe, obviously, homelessness sadly goes hand in hand with a bunch of other things, right? It goes hand in hand with drugs, hand in hand with all manner of different things. Should make you angry, by the way. Should make you extremely angry when you hear horror stories like this. And then you understand that recently a mother of 6 was evicted from her home to make room for an Afghan family, right? Since at least seemingly been made homeless, and the government is now outright evicting citizens from their homes to make room for foreigners, so foreigners can be given their homes and they be made homeless. That should make you fucking angry. Mohammed sat beside her, groped her, and as she groped her, she tried to push him away, then dragged her to the ground and raped her repeatedly until her body gave out. Mohammed is charged with 4 counts of rape. His bond, $300,000. Why does he even have a bond? Right? Why does he even have a bond? Even a predator caught in the act in Tennessee law, a man who raped a dying woman to death on church steps, still gets a price tag for his freedom. It's truly just goes to show that all across the world, how broken things are, how evil things are, how much evil exists in the world. I don't see how people see this and then think, fucking hell, evil does exist. True evil does exist. And if true evil does exist, there must be an opposite that exists. And maybe that's where rejecting that was where all our problems started. And, there's a story about that. And then this happened in Illinois. If you think that these people's attitudes are anything like our own, you need to have your head checked, because you look at things like this. A Muslima arrested for assaulting a man she accused of quote-unquote Islamophobia. She tells cops they had to bow down to her. Bow down and kiss my fucking feet. That's what she told them. That's not what she actually told them, but that's the attitude. Right? Where's the... Oh. I was hoping for more of an article. Hang on a minute. Is there more? Oh. Hang on, I thought there was more of an article. Okay, so we do have a linked video clip, ladies and gentlemen. So there wasn't an article linked on that, but you'll find it on Jihad Watch link down below. But you'll also find this video clip linked down below as well. It's a body cam footage from a police officer dealing with this at the time. Shows Reem Reem El Al-Dieri, who you say there, being arrested in Illinois for reportedly assaulting a man she claimed was quote-unquote Islamophobic, and that's obviously a phrase that's made up for political purpose. You know, if you're concerned about the fact that a certain book, which these people take as gospel and as religious law, that commands your death and subjugation, or death and or subjugation under you paying protection money to them whilst you are subdued and embarrassed, if you think that's in any way a bad thing, you're Islamophobic, by the way. That saying that because she was a Muslim, the police were going to pay if they didn't arrest the white guy, and these are some of the most racist people on the planet as well, for all the stick that we get about supposed racism and stuff like that. These are some of the most racist people on the planet. You want to see some of the things that these people say about black people, like Africans and stuff like that, right? And they're saying that the police should bow down to her and listen to her orders.
Deputies responded to the Kane County DOT lot for what looked like road rage with a splash of street theater. The victim said a blue Prius driver, later ID'd as Reem M. Al-Dahiri, tried to run him off the road, soaked him in his car, and took a few swings.
Out of nowhere, a guy in a blue Toyota behind me, rushing me to I don't know where in this neighborhood, okay? I'm not crying to you. Are you listening? That's your people. He's white. So the guy is white and that's his people. And look what they're doing. They're making it look like that I am the one that... They're making it look like that I am the problem. I am not the problem.
Okay. Did you approach him at all?
He approached me, and then he ran in his car and closed the door, and that's when I had water, and I threw the water at him. I threw the water.
Why'd you throw the water at him? But he got in his car. Why'd you throw the water at him?
No, don't tell me his car when he came over. I'm from New York.
Reem's version featured a tailgater, an assassination plot, and Islamophobia claims, minus any actual weapon.
Me? Are they gathering to protect me, or are they gathering to protect their own white people? Because if that's the case, you gotta pay for the Islamophobia.
I haven't even met the other guy yet.
I do not care. Right? You're manipulating the system.
All right,
you know you cannot manipulate the system.
So.
Right.
Okay. Hey, so, ma'am, you're gonna be under arrest for assault, okay?
Assault?
Yes.
What assault?
At this point, just put your hands behind your back.
I did not assault nobody.
Put your hands behind your back, please.
So you
She admitted to trying to throw water over him.
That's not how it goes.
Yes, it does. I did not assault him. I did not assault him.
These people think they can do no wrong.
Because I'm Muslim.
And that will be duly noted in the report, okay?
Islamophobia. You know that, right?
Wow.
You are. Because you had a chance there to bow down to me. You
There it
know
is.
right
I was waiting for it.
now. And to listen to my orders. You have a chance.
There it is. There it is. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. Honestly, guys, this is fucking ridiculous. This is fucking ridiculous. These people think they can come to our countries and dictate. Well, in fact, in Britain, they have. In many instances, in some areas of America, they have as well, right? Because, weak Americans like Tim Waltz and people like that have been so keen to give their country over to these people. For there was that arrogance and that pride on display that you can go to a foreigner's house and say, you have to bow down to me. Can you imagine if anybody, just go to the next town over. Imagine it was you. You go to the next town over. And imagine the shame that you would feel if you went into somebody's house or you're driving through their community, you got into an altercation with somebody and you threw water on them or threw water over their car, whatever it was, you assaulted them. And then you said to any person there, whether it's a homeowner or whether it's police or whatever, when you get arrested, no, you had the opportunity to bow down to me. Can you imagine the shame that you would feel? Now imagine these people feel no shame whatsoever. These people feel no shame whatsoever. And instantly there, you see the multicultural myth completely collapse. Because there will be one culture within the system that will dominate the other. And basically multiculturalism is basically saying that you cannot have a culture that in any way, prizes or puts the native culture above any other cultures that may exist. And so the other cultures that are coming in are simply going to take over. That's the logical endpoint of what's going to happen. And that's what we're seeing. Because multiculturalism, anytime you dilute your support of your own culture, something else is going to come in and take over. Something else is going to come in and take over. And these people are more than happy to do that. This woman sees not an ounce of shame or ounce of any wrongdoing when she says to this American, in America, he has to bow down to her. That should tell you everything you need to know about these people's mindset.